Hello my frugal family, thank you for joining me for another video. This video is different. It's pertaining to nose piercings, simple and easy way to get rid of the bump, keloid, infection, whatever you want to call it, that most people get around or on next to their nose piercing. So I got mine because I have a slight case of OCD. I am constantly cleaning my face, my nose, and trying to get rid of any possible or any visible blackheads, whiteheads, and so on. So recently I found myself cleaning my nose, and I obviously squeezed too hard, and as a result the next day my nose stem was raising up out the piercing, and then I noticed that I had a bump on the side of it. So hopefully you learn from my mistakes. And so I've seen other videos because I tried to get rid of it. I was paranoid. I'm too old to walk around with some bump on my face, and then I was like, I don't want to have surgery. I didn't want to envision it, so I had to act fast. So I watched some videos. In other videos I saw people mention saline and using sea salt. I saw some people mention tea tree oil. My experience was that the tea tree oil, it created some tingling sensation, but it really didn't have an effect. So I waited a couple of hours to see if anything happened. Nothing had happened. So I had to make it make sense, and I said, well, I don't have sea salt and I do not have saline, and I did have like solution, like some sort of wound care for a different piercing, and I was using that to clean it, but that didn't work either. So I thought about the people saying, oh, use sea salts and the saline, and although I didn't have it, I said, what do I have that's similar, since I wasn't going to go and purchase it, or was unable to go and purchase it. So luckily for me, I did have Himalayan pink salt in my cabinet. I purchased this a while back from Dollar Tree. And then if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that my mother is disabled. She's bedbound, and so she has in the past gotten excuse me, bed sores and needed wound care. So luckily for me, she had, or I was able to find some sodium chloride. Actually, it's 0.9% sodium chloride irrigation UPS. And so I use that. And please make sure, if you do have this, that it is not expired. This expires April 2022. And so with the two of those, I put them in a bowl, put them in the microwave. At first I did it for 30 seconds. It was not hot enough. It was lukewarm. I didn't feel like I was going to do anything, so I put the solution back in the microwave and heated up for a minute. At that point it was hot. I took a Q-tip and I mixed around the sea salts and the solution together. I did not add water. I took it and went around my nose, but then I realized, again, I'm trying to get rid of the bump. So then I took my rag and then I put my finger in the rag and I dipped it in the solution, and then I pressed down on it. However, because the rag is big, it impairs your vision. In addition, the rag has, like, you know, the cloth loops or fabric sticking out of it. If this gets caught on your nose ring, whether it's the hoop or the stem, it's going to cause more irritation. So I got gauze. There's two types of gauze. There's like the holy gauze, that's like the cloth, I forgot what it's called, like that you use to drain foods or wines or, you know, things like that. And then there's the thicker cloth where the holes are not as big. So I did happen to have that type of gauze. So I dipped that in a solution, and then I took it and put it against my piercing, and I pressed down on it. I took my thumb and stuck it in my nostril and squeezed as hard as I possibly could, that I could tolerate. That, with the pressure and the heat from me heating it up, I did that about 3 or 4 times, and then I took the Q-tip afterwards and went around the piercing on the outside, then went around the piercing on the inside. The next day I noticed that it did go down. However, the bump is no longer looking blister like. It looks like a scab, like, or I could say like pussy, like it actually burst. And so I continue to do the same thing. So I'll say about the third or fourth day, I could see the difference in my nose, that the bump had went away. But then I started to get peeling because the solution, I'm assuming, the solution and the salt, most likely the salt, ended up drying up around my nose. So all around my nose right here was like tight cracking, like cracked skin. And so I recommend not using your nails. And please make sure before you do any of this, and every time that you go to touch or treat your infection, that you wash your hands thoroughly. Meanwhile, like I said, once I noticed the area was dry and I came out the shower, you could see like a little bit of peeling or like grayish on my skin. And so I took the rag again, finger inside, and I gently, with a little bit of pressure, went around, like rubbed around the piercing to gently remove the dead skin. And it was a lot, by the way. And so thereafter, so this is like the fourth day, I continuously still, like maybe twice a day now, take a Q-tip, mix, or actually dip it in this sodium chloride, and I rub or clean around on the outside of the piercing, and I do so on the inside as well. And when I tell you it worked better than the tea tree oil, because actually the tea tree oil didn't do anything, and I was pleasantly surprised and very grateful that I was able to get the bump down, because like I said, I was paranoid to envision or fathom that I would have a keloid, because I decided to go get a piercing all of a sudden. And you know, so I was grateful that I had all these things, and even more grateful that it went down. So again, frugal family, if you have a piercing and you have an infection, wash your hands thoroughly. Make sure that the sodium chloride is not expired. And if you do not have saline and you do not have sea salt, you are more than welcome to use Himalayan sea salts. Excuse me, I'm doing it again. Himalayan pink salt and some sodium chloride as mixed together as a solution to treat that area, and I promise you that it will work. And so the other part of it, because I always give like a two-for, is again, if you want to clean your nose, if you have whitehead or blackheads, a lot of people have like the little blackheads on their nose. Some people don't clean it. You can always take the rag and squeeze, but most the gem of this is that you could take a bob pin for like the whiteheads you have in the corners of your nose, and you could actually hold your nose to the side and use it and like squeeze, and it will come out. It's almost like a pimple popper. Less expensive or cost effective. Just again, make sure that everything you use is clean / sterile. And with that being said, I hope that this video has helped someone. And you know, again, you always got to make it make sense. And even if you don't have sodium chloride, or you don't have saline, and you need to act fast, just look to see if you have anything similar, because I don't know if I mentioned, I don't believe that I did, that the sodium chloride irrigation actually is used for wound care in hospital settings, and so that made the most sense to me. So once again, I hope this video helped someone, and if it did, please leave a comment and let me know that it was helpful to you. And until next time, thank you again for joining me, Frugal Fumi, for Frugal Resolve.